So 11 years ago, we started Network in Action. And one of the reasons I started it was because really everyone's doing the same thing. And what I mean by that is, think about it, weekly meetings, volunteer-led, no technology, requirements to really go to work for the company that owns the networking group as opposed to working on your own business. And anybody gets in as long as they have a pulse and a credit card. And I thought to myself, there's got to be a better way to create a group of people where a professional leader can be compensated for making sure the group's effective. Well, in order for that to work, my logic was busy business owners don't want to commit to a weekly obligation. The last thing I want to do is put something else on my plate, especially at 7 o'clock in the morning. And so there's a reason that only about 100,000 businesses, think about that a minute, there's 36 million small businesses in America with 65 million employees they could put in a networking group. And the largest organization in the world, after 43 years, only has 72,000 people. And they're not retaining very many of those the first year. So if you're in one of those groups, just watch how much people fall out after a year. And don't get sucker punched by signing up for 2 years, because that's why they do that. They know that you're not going to have a very great result. So if you pay for 2 years up front, you're more likely to stay. There's no other reason to pay for 2 years up front. But anyway, not very many people are networking. And yet, if you listen to Warren Buffett and Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, they all say the one thing they wish they had done earlier was build a bigger network. So we know this works, and yet very few people participate for very long. So networking had to change. And that's what we were able to do with Network in Action 11, 12 years ago. We've been able to create in 11 different countries and 33 different U.S. states as of today here in 2026, a model where people flock to it because the obligation to attend is only once a month. You're not required to go to work for Network in Action. You get to spend all of your time working on your business. When you show up at one of our events, you're going to be treated like a client. And we're only going to put people in the room who are serious about helping each other. It's as big a shift as Uber and a yellow cab. Its biggest shift is VRBO in a hotel room. By putting people in the room that want to help others, the first thing we do is we try to get owners and decision makers. And I would say about 90% of our groups are made up of owners and decision makers. Now, I'm no Elon Musk. I am not smart enough to see the future like him. We're not going to put a networking group on Mars. But it does make sense to me that if you fill the room with owners, you're naturally going to have higher retention because owners don't change jobs. And so we have much higher retention. Today, it's like 75.4% of people renew after the first year. The difference between the obligation to be a Network in Action member and be a member of all of these other knockoffs is dramatic. And so what happens is the owner of the franchise, the leader of the group, has a financial incentive to make sure everyone in the group is there to help each other. And that's fundamentally different, because if I'm a salesperson and the boss is paying for me to be in a networking group, I'm going to go home after the meeting and tell the boss how many leads I got. So I'm there to sell. Where a business owner, truly in their heart, they're there to commiserate with other business owners and to make sure that they've got great connections, and they know that their referrals will come. And so it works fantastic, and it's totally turned the industry upside down. There still are hundreds of players in the networking space. 99% of them meet weekly, expect you to bring your friends, expect you to pass a lead every week, are volunteer-led, have little or no technology. And so we've really created a space of our own with Network in Action.